Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. ISRO successfully launches its heaviest communication satellite ever, CMS-03, aboard Launch Vehicle Mark III. UK police says 2 British men arrested after knife attack on a train say not treating it as a terrorist incident. The attack leaves 9 people with life-threatening injuries. And India takes on South Africa in the ICC Women's World Cup final at Navi Mumbai. South Africa win the toss, opt to field. India makes a good start. The Indian Space Research Organisation ISRO successfully launched its heavy communication satellite CMS-03 from Satish Dhawan Space Centre in Andhra Pradesh's Sriharikota. CMS-03 is a multi-band communication satellite that will provide services over a wide oceanic region, including the Indian landmass. CMS-03, weighing about 4,400 kilograms, is the heaviest communication satellite which was launched to geosynchronous transfer orbit GTO from Indian soil. The previous mission of LVM-3 launched the Chandrayaan-3 mission, where India became the first country to land successfully near the lunar South Pole. India's Minister for Science and Technology, Earth Sciences, Dr. Jitendra Singh hailed the successful launch of the satellite. The minister wrote on social media platform X, "Kudos Team ISRO. India's Bahubali scales the skies with the successful launch of LVM-3 M5 mission." Bahubali, as it is being popularly referred, LVM-3 M5 rocket is carrying the CMS-03 communication satellite, the heaviest ever to be launched from the Indian soil into a geosynchronous transfer orbit. ISRO continues to script one success after another, thanks Prime Minister Narendra Modi for the unflinching government support. So this has been a momentous launch for India. LVM-3 M5, the launch taking place from the second launch pad of Satish Dhawan Space Station in Sriharikota, Andhra Pradesh at 5:26 p.m. Indian Standard Time. And our correspondent Jai Singh is stationed at Sriharikota and is joining us with more. Tell us about the significance, Jay, about this satellite and how it will strengthen the country's communication system.
Well, India has achieved yet another milestone by way of its Bahubali rocket, the LVM-03, making yet another successful launch. This is the 8th consecutively successful launch for LVM-03, which was earlier known as GSLV Mark III. So this is the highest ever, payload, the heaviest ever payload to be launched from Indian soil from the second launch pad of Satish Dhawan Space Center at Sriharikota, which is 90 kilometers away from Chennai. And the weather was really very salubrious, very conducive for this launch. There are several innovations that have been made. Actually, the normal lifting capacity of LVM-03 is only 4 tons, but this time it was made 10% more by way of making a lot many innovative ideas into practice. So this has been achieved by way of, avoiding such heavy lift satellite payloads from taking them to foreign country for its launch, thereby, strengthening India's Atmanirbharta, and also by way of saving a lot of money for the public exchequer. So this is the eighth successful launch and the fifth operational launch for LVM-03, which itself speaks a lot about the reliability of this rocket, the launch vehicle. When we come to the satellite part, this is a very significant development, especially for Indian Navy, because it replaces the aging GSAT-7 satellite, which was launched way back in 2013, which still is operational, but the technology has changed a lot, and we can do a lot more by way of modernizing the system and by replacing the old one with this new one with multi, band capacity. It has very ultra high frequency bandwidth, Q band, C band, and S band. All these bands together can enhance the capability of the Indian Navy to ensure seamless, at the same time very safe and secure communication between its ships on the shore as well as on the sea, and the aircraft and the submarines, and also with the base stations on the shore. So this way it can transfer heavy amount of data, quantum of data, and then voice and also videos. So this will significantly enhance the capacity, the communication, reliable communication system for our security forces. Indian Ocean is well within its range up to 2,000 kilometers from its shores. So this boosts India's capacity both strategically and also to ensure safeguard India's maritime interests.
Okay, thank you very much, Jai Singh, for all those updates. Another historic feat in the cap of ISRO. UK police ruled out terrorism in relation to Saturday's mass stabbing attack on a train in central England. As of Sunday, 4 had been released from hospital and 2 remained with life-threatening injuries. The officer also said that 2 British men had been arrested on suspicion of attempted murder.
At approximately 7:42 p.m. yesterday evening, there were calls to the police service in relation to multiple stabbings which took place on board a train service that departed Doncaster at 6:25 p.m. and was en route to London King's Cross Station. Officers immediately attended Huntington Station alongside paramedics, where armed police officers from Cambridgeshire Police boarded the train and arrested 2 people. British Transport Police declared a major incident yesterday, and counter-terrorism policing were initially supporting our investigation. However, at this stage, there is nothing to suggest that this is a terrorist incident.
On to Africa now. Nigeria has vowed to continue defending citizens of all religions after US President Donald Trump listed it as a country of concern. In the latest move, the Trump administration has threatened the West African country of military action if the Nigerian government fails to protect Christians amid reports of violence in the country.
US President Donald Trump has threatened on Saturday to send the military into Nigeria with the guns a-blazing if Nigeria does not stem what he described as the killing of Christians by Islamists. In an explosive post, Trump said on social media that he asked the Pentagon to map out a possible plan of attack in Nigeria if the Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians. Trump said the US government will also immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria. Trump's post on Nigeria came a day after his administration added Nigeria back to countries of particular concern list of nations that the US says have violated religious freedom. Before Trump's threats, Nigeria's foreign ministry said it will continue to defend all citizens irrespective of race, creed or religion. Nigerian government said that like America, Nigeria has no option but to celebrate the diversity that is their greatest strength. It also hoped Washington would remain a close ally. In a separate statement before Trump's post, Nigerian President Bola Ahmed Tinubu posted a statement on Saturday pushing back against claims of religious intolerance and defended his country's efforts to protect religious freedom. Nigeria is embroiled in numerous conflicts that experts say have killed both Christians and Muslims without distinction. While Nigerian President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had no immediate reaction to Trump's threat of military action, the White House also had no immediate comment on the potential timing of any US military action. Bureau Report, DD India.
US continues to carry out crackdown on drug vessels in the Caribbean. On Saturday, the US military conducted a lethal strike on a vessel operated by a drug trafficking organization in the Caribbean, killing 3 men aboard. The operation, directed by President Donald Trump and carried out in international waters, targeted a vessel known to be carrying narcotics along a smuggling route with no US forces harmed. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth shared a video set to show the moment of the deadly strike on the port. The United States wants deeper military ties with Vietnam, U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said on Sunday at the start of a visit to Hanoi. U.S. Defense Secretary on Sunday received a grand welcome in Vietnam. Hegseth held bilateral meeting with Vietnamese Defense Minister Phan Van Giang. In a statement, Vietnam's Defense Ministry said both governments agreed to continue promoting security cooperation, including areas such as the defense industry. U.S. Defense Secretary Hegseth called on Vietnamese President Luong Suong during his visit. Earlier, Hegseth said deeper military cooperation will benefit both of their countries. The United States had already delivered 3 cutters to the Vietnamese Coast Guard and 3 T-6 trainer aircraft. In Mexico, a supermarket explosion killed at least 23 people in the northern state of Sonora, with investigators saying that the blast was an accident, possibly caused by faulty electric transformer. The state governor informed that a number of the victims investigators found were minors, while 11 others were also injured. Durazo said that the survivors were being treated at hospitals in the city of Hermosillo, where the explosion took place. An extensive and transparent investigation has been ordered to determine the causes of the incident and figure out those responsible. Local authorities cancelled celebrations scheduled for the weekend to honor the Day of the Dead. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum expressed her condolences. In a social media post, she said, and I quote her, "I have been in contact with the Sonora Governor Alfonso Durazo to provide support where needed. I have instructed Interior Secretary Rosa Isela Rodriguez to send a support team in order to assist the families and the injured." Unquote. You're watching DD India Live, still to come on the show. Election campaigning gears up in Bihar, with senior BJP leader and Prime Minister Narendra Modi canvassing for votes in Nevada. Indian Armed Forces conduct exercise Trishul along the western border. And the second edition of Kashmir Marathon 2025 flagged off from Srinagar in India's north.
To poets, it was paradise. To the stars, their mirror. To India, it was Avantika, Ujjaini or Ujjain. The city of poetry and time. Watch special episode of Forever Cities on Ujjain, only on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I am Tanvi Taneja. On to the Oceania region. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has written to Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan to resolve a long-running tussle over who will host the next year's COP31 summit. Australia and Turkey submitted bids in 2022 to host the United Nations Climate Conference, and both countries have refused to concede to the other ever since. A regional diplomatic bloc of 18 countries, the Pacific Islands Forum, is backing Australia's bid. Several Pacific Island nations are at risk from rising seas, while Turkey has previously argued its Mediterranean location would help reduce emissions from flights bringing delegates to the conference, and has pointed out its smaller oil and gas industry compared to Australia. COP31's host needing to be unanimously agreed upon by the 28 members of the Western Europe and others group bloc. On to France now. Two more suspects, including a woman, were charged on Saturday in relation to the theft of historical jewels worth $102 million from the Louvre Museum. In a press release, the Paris prosecutor stated that both suspects have denied any involvement in the theft. 4 people are now under investigation and in custody, while 3 others arrested on October 29th were released without charge. Masked thieves stole treasures from the Louvre's Apollo Gallery, which houses the French crown jewels, during opening hours on October 19th, highlighting security flaws at the world's most visited museum. Samia Suluhu Hassan, who has won her first elected term as the president of Tanzania, securing 98% of the votes in 2025 general election, has condemned the protests surrounding the polls, while opposition alleges that hundreds have been killed by security forces. The Electoral Commission of Tanzania said that Hassan won 97.66% of the vote, with turnout at 87%. Though media reports suggest that polling stations were largely empty. Her win seeks to cement her position and silence critics in her party with a resounding win, as the main opposition candidates are either jailed or disqualified. However, the African Union chair has deeply regretted the loss of human life in the election protests in Tanzania, but congratulated President Samia Suluhu Hassan on her victory. Jamaican officials have announced plans to set up multiple field hospitals as the country recovers from Hurricane Melissa, with the death toll now over 50 across the Caribbean. Jamaica has confirmed 19 deaths so far, but officials say the actual number could be higher as some areas remain difficult to reach. Haiti's Civil Protection Department has reported at least 31 deaths due to the storm. Melissa struck Jamaica as a Category 5 hurricane with winds up to speeds of 185 miles per hour, the most powerful storm ever recorded on the island, and drenched the country with torrential rain. Hospitals in Western Jamaica were badly impacted, and the first field hospital is expected to arrive in Black River, fully equipped with an operating theatre and diagnostic equipment. More field hospitals are also expected, with support from the World Health Organization and countries including Spain, Canada and India. At least 21 people have been confirmed dead and 31 others remain missing after a devastating landslide hit Kenya's Marakwet East region early Saturday morning following heavy rainfall. A multi-agency search and rescue operation involving the military, police and humanitarian agencies is underway to locate the missing persons. Interior Cabinet Secretary of Kenya, who visited the affected site, said 25 people have been rescued and are receiving medical treatment. He urged residents to move to higher ground and avoid landslide-prone areas as rains continue to batter the region. Authorities have established a reporting desk for missing people, while emergency teams continue to dig through debris. And some national updates from India now, with political parties ramping up campaigning efforts ahead of the Bihar Assembly polls. Bharatiya Janata Party leader and Prime Minister Narendra Modi is campaigning in the eastern state. In his first rally of the day in Ara, PM Modi stressed that the NDA's manifesto is a guarantee of Bihar's all-round development along with social justice. He said the sea of people gathered in the city is an indication that the public has again made up its mind to form an NDA government in the state. PM Modi later held a rally in Nevada where he reiterated what he said in Ara. The PM talked about the growing divide between the RJD and Congress, highlighting the deepening conflict within the alliance.
आजकल ये दोनों दल एक दूसरे के बाल नोचने में लगे हैं और तो खबर ये है कि हर बूथ पर कांग्रेस के लोगों ने आरजेडी को हराने की ठान ली है। आप देखिएगा 11 तारीख को दूसरे चरण का मतदान खत्म होते ही कांग्रेस आरजेडी एक दूसरे का क्या हाल करते हैं, माथे फोड़ना शुरू कर देंगे।
Troops of Indian Armed Forces are conducting Exercise Trishul, a major tri-services exercise in the western sector. The exercise is being conducted by Indian Navy jointly with the Indian Army and Indian Air Force. Exercise Trishul exemplifies India's resolve to safeguard its borders through the spirit of jointness, self-reliance and innovation. The exercise aims to achieve validation and synchronization of operational procedures across the three services, enabling joint operations in multi-domain environment. The key objectives include enhancing interoperability of platforms and infrastructure.
The Indian Navy, from the guardians of the sky to the sentinels of the sea and to the amphibians on the land and the steel on the deserts. One flag, one force, one nation. The power of integration comes live in the Mega Tri-Services Exercise 2020.
And on to some sporting action now. India are batting first in an all-important final of the ICC Women's World Cup after South Africa won the toss and chose to bowl first. Smriti Mandhana and Shafali Verma have got India off to a strong start after the final was delayed by nearly 2 hours due to rain at the D.Y. Patil Stadium in Navi Mumbai. However, the opening partnership was broken at 104 after Smriti Mandhana was caught by Jafta, bowled by Tyron. Mandhana scored 45 runs. Till the last reports came in, India was batting on 128 in 22 overs for the loss of 1 wicket. And in men's cricket, India beat Australia by 5 wickets in the third of the 5 T20 at the Belirive Oval in Hobart on Sunday. Batting first, Australia rode on the back of Tim David and Marcus Stoinis half-centuries to take Australia to 186 for 6 from 20 overs. Arshdeep Singh, returning to the side, picked up 3 wickets, while Varun Chakrabarti chipped in with 2 wickets. In reply, India chased the total in 18.3 overs. Washington Sundar led India to victory, being the top scorer with his 49-run cameo. With the result, the series is all square at 1-1. The second edition of the Kashmir Marathon 2025 was flagged off from Jammu and Kashmir's Srinagar city on Sunday, emphasizing the importance of health and fitness. Coming in the wake of the Pahalgam attack, the event stands as a symbol of resilience, showcasing Kashmir as a destination for both tourism and sports. Participants from all walks of life, including differently abled individuals, took part, creating a vibrant and positive atmosphere. The marathon not only promoted health and unity, but also highlighted the region's growing potential for international sporting affairs. And that's all for this edition of DD India Live. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. Connect with us on our different social media handles at DD India Live. And for those on the go, you can also download our DD India mobile app for quick news and updates from around the world. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja. From all of us here in New Delhi, thank you for watching. Namaskar.